We're excited. We've got some great information for you, and we're only going to keep you 30 minutes. So hopefully I don't talk too fast, but when I'm excited, I do tend to talk fast. This is an industry that Bob and I have been in now for 32 years. We were with one company for 25 years, and they had a very traditional type of supplement, multivitamin, vitamin C's and B's. And about 7.5 years ago, we found out about LifeVantage. And the term that we use here is activation. We take it to make it. So I'm going to share a little bit about that science, a little bit more about Bobby's and my story. And then probably the most reason you're on here is, how we go about making money with our company. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with that. Sure. There you go. Okay. No. I'll tell you a little bit about Bobby's and my story as he's pulling up these slides. But anyway, so like I said, 32 years in the industry, 7.5, we found out about activation. And really, this is a science unlike anything else out there. If you've not heard about activation, it's because it's fairly new. Newsweek wrote us up twice, like in the last 6 months, with regards to activation and really being on the forefront of medical science. And so we take these products to turn on aging pathways so that they, make us feel and look like we did when we were much younger. And so that is a very exciting, supplementation is really something that is just, you're taking it, but it's not an exact science they're finding out. We don't know if it's too much, too little, or we're getting that absorption rate. So, some of the things we're going to talk about, we are a publicly traded company. We are on the NASDAQ. So, we get a lot of, scrutiny from the SEC and things so people know what's going on with our company. That should give you some great comfort. And we're just really excited about this activation. One of the products that we're going to talk about when we start, and the product that founded the company, is something called Protandim. And Protandim is super unique, super different than anything else out there. And what it does is it reduces a medical term called oxidative stress. And so I'm going to skip one more slide. Okay, so this is Protandim. And what it does is it reduces something called oxidative stress. It reduces it by 40% in the first 30 days. And why is that important? When you reduce oxidative stress, you reduce all disease, all aging, and all inflammation, which is super, super important. In fact, there is a site called pubmed.gov. You may not be familiar with it, but there are some 320,000 studies on oxidative stress. And they all say when you reduce oxidative stress, you reduce aging, disease, and inflammation. And they talk about all kinds of diseases. And, there's no way that you could get the benefits of this one pill that we take. It's 5 plant-based ingredients. It's got ashwagandha, turmeric, green tea, milk thistle, and bacopa in it. Again, 5 plant-based ingredients. Kind of most people are familiar with at least 3 of those. Bobby and I had been taking 3 of the 5 before we even found out about this product. But this product, this one little pill, this one plant-based product produces more than 1 million times per second the antioxidant value. So I'd rather take one pill than 5 different pills if I were to take 5 different plant-based ingredients, or, the equivalent in food. And a lot of times people think, I can get everything from food. Well, that absolutely is not true. You'd have to drink like 87 glasses of red wine, swallow 120 tablets of vitamin C, eat like a crazy amount of broccoli, 11 pounds of blueberries, just to get the antioxidant value that you get from this one product. So this is really the flagship product of our company. This is how our company started. This very unique product, again, this activation that Newsweek has written up, sat on the shelves at GNC for years because nobody understood how special this is. So again, we have something, we have our hands on something that is really in the forefront of what is just going to be better health activation for many decades. And who doesn't want to be first? What's really cool is our company took that activation and then more recently came out with a collagen. And I don't know what you knew about collagen. I knew next to nothing. I knew enough to be dangerous. I saw on Instagram, Facebook, people were drinking collagen, putting it in their coffee type thing, but I didn't really see the results. And I'm going to show you some before and afters with this, but our collagen is truly unique. It is the only collagen that actually produces collagen 100%. We also help maintain the collagen, and we also avoid the degradation of the collagen, the degrading of the collagen that happens, because we all know by the time we reach 30, we're losing a lot of collagen. And by the time we're 50, we're really losing a lot of collagen. And the way that it may show up, it may be wrinkles on your face, it may be joint pain, it may be saggy skin. But you know what? Even our eyes are 91% collagen. So collagen is the thing that holds our whole body together. So important for heart health, lungs, and I can go on, but we have collagen all over our body. It's one of our largest proteins. And again, today, because of the way we eat, we just don't get any collagen. We used to eat the whole animal. We used to eat the bones, the skin, the eyes, the organs and stuff. And people now, even if they are eating, say, chicken, they don't have any skin on it or whatever. So important that we're able to supplement with this collagen, and we can really see some results. You can see these are pictures. This is 30-day pictures, and I'm going to flip through just for the sake of time some of these. This lady on my left is 70 years old. Can you imagine? Anybody, any woman knows, the neck is the first area to show aging. This is Betty. She's done a great job of documenting as she's used the product. Saw her actually in Salt Lake. We were there. She looks amazing. And, again, I said collagen is all over. So, legs, knees, stomach, all that loose skin and stuff. It's going to help tighten up. Using our collagen with the Protandim, again, we're getting 100% activation of that collagen. We're producing 100%. And that's why we're able to get these results. When our company first brought the collagen to market, they brought just the collagen, and that's what the studies were on. But what happened is all of the consultants were using the Protandim also, and they're like, wow, they're getting even better results. So they took those two products back to a lab and tested it gene by gene. So the results we get with this products, I should say, that both of them are Glow package, is nothing short of amazing with these products. And then more recently, we came out with a GLP-1, and I don't know if you're familiar with GLP-1s. Probably after I mention this, you will be. But, GLP-1 is the term that's thrown around a lot. The people are getting the shots, the synthetic shots to lose weight. You'll see a lot of commercials on TV, lose 25, 35 pounds, whatever, meant mostly for diabetics, but weight loss is a huge industry out there. So we have the only natural, it's a two-part system, the only natural GLP-1 activator, and we just got back from Salt Lake, we're able to increase that hormone by some 200%. And that means different things for most people, but for most people, it will control their snacking during the day. It'll help them lose weight, gets them out of that hunger thing, reduce the sugar cravings that so many of us have, just make it so much easier for us to lose weight. And it's so healthy. I know the doctors were in a doctor meeting down there, and some of the results, other than just weight loss, are better sleep, and there's the brain health and the gut health, and there's so many other areas that they're going. But most of us, our GLP-1 hormones are not where they should be because of aging, the stress we may be under, toxic foods that we've been, eating for too long. If you're one of those people that has worried, I keep gaining weight, although I'm really watching what I'm eating the right amount of foods, but the weight keeps going up. It's really not your fault. It's the foods that you've had, the processed foods that have reduced your GLP-1 hormone and make you crave things when you're not even hungry. So this has been a great product line. We've gotten amazing results with it. Again, I'll flip through some of the more recent photos that we're getting from people, and people are losing the inches. So we tell them, look for the pounds, look for the inches. We're getting some great results. And like I said, they sleep better, they feel better. The food cravings, the food noise, that's the thing they talk about, whenever you've got that pie left over from company that's maybe left in the refrigerator, and you just feel like you got to finish it before before the day is over or whatever it is. You've just got to eat it all right away. But you can see these are some tremendous results that people have been getting, and lots of people, all different ages, which is cool because we all know as you get older, they say it is harder to lose the weight. And this is, again, just an idea of all the different areas that increasing your GLP-1 hormone. And we're going to see a lot more of this in the news. People are going to become much more educated about the GLP-1 hormone because they're just finding out so much. So again, we are on the forefront of this. We are way ahead of the curve. And this is where you want to be when you're thinking about a business opportunity. But, we have so many products. We have different pathways. We have an amazing skincare line. We've got a hair care line. We've got nootropics. We've got all kind of prebiotics, daily wellness. We've got a lot of different products, even a product for your pet, all activators that are making people feel and look like they did when they were much younger, which is always so exciting. And, when you have something like that, it presents an amazing opportunity. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my husband come and talk to you about how we actually go about making money with this and how exciting it is and just the place we are in history. And I couldn't think of a more exciting time for our company. So if you'll hold on 1 second, thanks.
Hey, good evening, everyone. It's every time I hear the results of the products, I'm just more and more thankful that I've been taking them for 7 years. And, but April hit the nail right on the head. There is, besides the supplement industry swinging into now activation, every industry evolves, every industry adapts, things change over the years, all of those things happen. And timing is important in business. I was talking to someone today on the phone, someone that had, called in about our business opportunity. They had seen an advertisement on Facebook. And we were talking about it isn't that many years ago that if you were talking to someone that had a side gig or a part-time thing that they did outside of their regular career or job, it was kind of frowned upon, almost like, what's the matter? You don't make enough money in your regular job. And boy, have times changed now. Now it is absolutely normal and smart for people to be earning money in 2, 3, 4 different things. It's an amazing thing how things have shifted, but let's face it, nobody wants to have all their eggs in one basket. Nobody wants to be at the mercy of one person, one company, one job, or one business. So with LifeVantage, we have amazing leadership. That's Steve Fife. He's our CEO. He was our CFO. The guy certainly understands numbers and stuff, but he works closely with our board of directors, and we are completely financially transparent. We're debt free. And as April mentioned before, we're getting a lot of recognition out there, not just, with Newsweek, but we're making noise in the healthcare industry. We're recognized as leaders and visionaries going into the future. So, we're publicly traded, we're on the NASDAQ, and, it's a great place to start a business or change your career, and start doing something else. But I'm going to take the second half of this Zoom and talk to you about the business side of things. We're in a weird period. We're transitioning right now as a country. The government is transitioning, and it's whenever there's different things going on or things change, there's an uncertainty out there. And the one thing that we have with LifeVantage is certainty. We have an opportunity to share products that everybody needs and wants. I mean, yeah, I heard last year now that we have a natural GLP-1 product that April was talking about, and it's patent pending. Okay. Think about all the people, $13 billion worth of Ozempic shots were sold last year. Just think of all the people that don't want to deal with the possible side effects and don't want to keep getting stuck with a needle. Now, look at that alone. Look at the collagen. April was talking about the visual benefits of collagen with wrinkles and skin and discoloration and all of that. What about the internal? benefits. How many people do you know that are looking for healthier joints, and joint health as time goes by? So we have an opportunity to share the product, and by doing that, okay, you earn money and up to 30%, okay, actually 30 to 40% every month when somebody's product order gets shipped. We have an opportunity if you want to get involved in building and growing a team. Okay, that's what April and I do along with leading the movement. So there's a place here for everybody. You can get in where you fit in, you can evolve as time goes on. And that's what I love about the business. So I'm going to give you a few different numbers. I'm going to use GLP-1 as an example, but as April showed you earlier, we have a whole line of products, but our three big activators, so that Protandem line, it's the GLP-1 natural weight loss, and it's the collagen. So I'm going to use the GLP-1 as an example. And here's what I'd like you to pay attention to, okay? If somebody's using the GLP-1 and there's a retail price of $199 a month, there's a subscription price where you save $20 at $179. That's what most people do. And as a consultant like I am, and a lot of the folks joining us tonight with their guest, you can pay $159. So here, look at these numbers for a second. Just follow my mouse. It'll keep it real simple. You can't make less than $19.99. I'm going to call it $20. So you can't make less than $20 a month on every customer order that goes out, okay, on subscription. But you have an opportunity to increase that by 5%, 10%, 15%, and 20%. So how do you do that? Well, you increase it by 5% by having 4 customers. You'll make an extra $6.40. So you make $26. I'm going to round numbers off, okay? You're going to make $26 per person per month. When you have 8 customers, you're going to be getting an extra 10%. So that's almost $13 more. You're making almost $33 a month per person per month. When you have 16 customers, it's 15%, an extra $19. You're looking at $39 a month profit on every order. And once you're 32 customers and above, because there's no limit, there's people on here that have hundreds and hundreds of customers, you're making an extra $25, about $45, okay, per person per month. Do you realize 100 customers, you're making about $55,000 a year? But even with just 32 customers, it's an extra $1,450 a month. That would pay a lot of people's rents. That would pay car payment and grocery bills. So there's a lot of things we could do with an extra $1,450 a month. But let me get into, this is kind of the product sharing. So if you were using the product and you were sharing it with other people, this is the numbers that would apply. April, can you check that? Now, on the business side, okay, keep this in mind, folks, because you saw the before and after pictures. And what happens in this business is that when you start getting results, people start asking, what are you doing? And when your customers start getting results, people start asking them, what are they doing? So here's my example, U plus 2. If you were a diamond distributor, that means you're somebody with the 32 customers or more, you're earning a 30% profit, it means $1,400 a month, okay, is what you would be earning. Now, would it be so hard to imagine that of your 32 customers, 2 of them would want to get involved in the business with you so they could make an extra $1,400 a month? It happens all the time, folks, and it doesn't take 32 to get 2. It's probably more like 10 or 15 to get 2. But look at the income. You're making $1,400 on your efforts. You're making 10% on their efforts, so that's another $800. It's $2,200 a month, $24,000 a year. Think about what could you do with that? Okay, it's actually 25 and change a year, but what would that come in handy? You're doing this from your phone, your laptop, the in-between times of your day, when you're picking up kids from the bus stop, when you're taking them to school, I mean, this is not something that's 9 to 5. This is something where you share before and after pictures, videos, things like that with other people from your phone or your laptop. It's that simple. Okay. And there's an app that goes on your phone too. Now, let's take it one step further. What if your two people got two people of their own? Well, if you could get two, obviously they could get two. Okay. It's the same thing. So now the two people that you got, okay, would be earning 10% on these people, but you also are going to get 7%. So you're getting 30% on your own, 10% on your first level, 7% on your second level. When these people hit the same 32 customer number that you had before, that 4,000 number, you're adding $1,120 a month to your 800, to your 1,400. Now you're at about 33, 3,400 a month. You're getting close to 40,000 a year. Could you use that? Could you use an extra 40,000 a year? You know you could. Okay, everybody could. And we all know lots of people that would make really good use of an extra 40,000 a year. But for those out there that maybe are making more than that and maybe are looking to do something bigger, you can play bigger. Okay, look, we're 16 years old as a company. April and I have been here 7.5 years. Every possible opportunity that you can dream of is available. Okay, we're the best kept secret around. Nobody's heard of us. So let me give you an example. Okay, imagine this. Imagine neighborhoods, towns, cities, states, countries. See, we're in Florida. This could be Orlando right here. This could be Tampa over here. This could be Miami over here. Okay. And then we have friends in Chicago and New York and DC and in San Diego and Los Angeles and San Francisco. We also have friends in other countries. Do you get what I'm saying? See, each one of those scenarios that I just described, what if it was 3 different areas and 3 times 37,000? That's $111,000 a year. Okay. If it was 6 areas, that's 222,000 a year. 9 areas, 333,000. But what if you knew someone that wanted to get involved with opening another country? You know, right now we're in 20, 22 countries, something like that. Do you know each one of those countries started because somebody knew someone who was there? And now in some cases, like we just got back from Salt Lake City, the second biggest market we have in the world at LifeVantage is Japan. And there were hundreds of Japanese distributors there, okay, at the convention in Salt Lake City because it was our global convention. So a lot of folks, you know, came in from outside the United States. So whether you're looking to make an extra $1,400 a month, you know, $14,000 a month, 3, 4, 500,000 a year, all of that is possible because of this. The reorder rate on our products is over 70%. The Protandim and the collagen and the GLP-1, when people get on it, they stay on it. So there's a really big opportunity on the business side to not have all your eggs in one basket with just one job. And, you know, I always like to say this business allows you or gives you the opportunity to begin getting rid of the things that you don't want to be doing so you can be doing more of the things that you love and want to be doing with friends, family, in retirement, all of that type of stuff. And you know, the numbers I was just going over with you, you don't have to take my word for it. I mean, I've been in this industry for 32 years. I'm pretty good with comp plans, but with LifeVantage, you don't have to guess. These are the numbers that are posted on the NASDAQ quarterly on what distributors earn. And all those numbers I was just talking about are right here. Okay. If you were with us or could have been with us in Salt Lake City at our conference, you would have heard people talking from the main stage, making anywhere from a couple thousand a month to over $1 million a year. I mean, that's just the range. And each one of them is in the business for a different reason. Not everybody is, like I said before, you get in where you fit in. Some people just want to be able to use these products and not have it cost anything, cover the cost of the products. Others, they want to have a little bit of extra money. But, April and I, we always wanted to play big. And a lot of people on this call, feel the same way about it. We're down in this range here. Okay. And that's per month. So whatever it is that you're looking to do, these numbers are on the NASDAQ. You look up LifeVantage, LFVN, and you'll see the income per year per distributor. It's all right there for you to look at. Now, I want to share something else with you. I know a lot of people, and April and I are among them, like to travel. Do you realize when you're building a business here, you have the opportunity to also qualify for trips? And I don't mean just like anywhere trips. I mean like exotic trips. Last month we got back from South Africa. And that was a bucket list place for us. In August, we qualified for a cruise to go to Alaska, and a number of folks on here are coming with us. They just announced this weekend the trip for next year is to Thailand. Now, here's what's cool about it. You can qualify for these trips by doing what you need to do to build your business. They can happen simultaneously. April and I have been in this industry for 32 years, 25 years with our first company and 7 here with LifeVantage. We have never missed a trip. And all we were ever doing is building a business like we're supposed to be doing. So if you like to travel, you're going to have the opportunity to do that if that's part of what you like to do in life. And I always said the traveling just seems more fun when someone else pays for it. It just seems to, maybe it's not, maybe it's my imagination, but I'll tell you, I really enjoy the travel part of it. Now, how do you get started? Okay. There's the most you can spend to get started in this business is $9.99. And that gets you the app for your phone. That gets you your website. That gets all your training. That gets all your marketing materials and the products. Our multiplier pack, you get 3 months of all those products April was talking about. The Protandem, the collagen, the GLP-1, we call it our MB Enhanced and MB Core products. Those are our GLP-1 products. You get tickets to attend the conferences like the ones we just went to. So they're all different price ranges, anywhere from $9.99. There's a business pack where you get all the products. Okay, they're all in here, not just the activators that April was talking about earlier. The skincare is in here. The Axio nootropics are in here. All the other products that we have are part of it. So that's an option. Like I said, the multiplier pack. We have an executive pack that's $4.89. All of these, you can start your business. All the tools are the same. The website is the same. What I'm saying is there's a lot of options available for you to get started. And I'm telling you, that trip with Thailand, this is the beginning of qualifying for it. We have all year to December 31st to qualify for that trip. So what I want to do, I want to stop sharing this and go back to the slides. Hey, everyone, wave at me so I know you're there. Hi. I just want to take another minute. We always promise to just keep it to a half hour, but let me ask you a question. In your travels during the day, the phone calls you get involved with during the day, when you're at church, when you're at your kids' sports, when you're playing pickleball, tennis, golf, all of that stuff, what is the conversation about? What are people talking about? Does anyone ever bring up health? Does anyone ever mention they'd like to lose weight? Does anyone ever mention their joints are achy? Does anyone ever mention they could use more energy? Do people, they do, okay? Or what about money? Do people mention, hey, I can't do that. I'm going to have to put that off for a little while. I can't afford it. College is running more for the kids than I was planning. the car is not lasting as long as I thought, or I'd like to start taking these trips. This is a way that you can start checking all those boxes and there's no risk. Do you know those packages that I just showed you? You're getting more products than it cost you dollars. And the business is included. It's like throwing in, we're not a franchise, we're a distributorship, but it's like throwing in the franchise for free. The ability to earn money is included with getting the products in the package, and the products you're getting are at a discounted wholesale price. I mean, this is a no-brainer, folks. And, when we first got involved in the industry, and this is how things changed, it cost us $5,000 to start 32 years ago with that first company that we spent 25 years with. And we didn't have this technology. We had to do everything person to person. We had to drive everywhere we went to meet people. And now you can you could join tonight, take this recording and show it to everyone you know and start earning money tomorrow. It could be that quick and that easy to get things started. So my advice is this, okay? And I'm just going to ask you to do me a favor. Somebody asked you tonight to join us on this Zoom. Please get back to them and let them know that you were on it, and let them know if you'd like to become a customer, if you'd like to use the product and do the business, or if you have some questions that still need to be answered, and they'll take care of whatever those options are. But just get back to them and let them know that you were on. I'm telling you, April and I and some of the folks here on here, we have never been more excited in our lives. We were with a company 32 years ago when we got started in this industry where the timing was great. And we ended up making over $15 million because we joined that company because the timing was great over the 25 years we were there. You have a chance to do the same thing here. Activation is the future. It's here now, but it is the future of supplements. And reactivating the body is the way to go. Okay. And we have that science, and these products are patented, and we're going global. And you know about something that nobody else that you know knows about. There's a big time opportunity here. So please get back to the person that shared this with them. Let them know we're on. Let them know you're interested. And if they have questions, let them know you'd be happy to answer them. Okay. Have a good evening, everyone. We love you. God bless you. And we'll talk to you real soon. Good night.